Look at the height on that. So that's the flighted CG I'm talking about. I mean, look at that. It's just so consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who goes and changes their lies on this would be crazy.
I did do that.
Yeah, I know you did.
Do that, yeah.
Welcome to the kingdom. I'm joined today by Grant Horvat. You guys have seen him out there playing some amazing golf. I couldn't think of a better person here to test the brand new P770s and the brand new P7 CB. We're going to get your feedback on that. Grant, you're a big P770 current user. What do you like about the irons? What do you see? What do you get from them?
Yeah, so when I first came here to the kingdom with you, I remember we tried to go with the P7 MC and the P7 MB combo set. I tried to play the P7 TWs. I was tinkering around and I fell on the P770s just because of how easy they're able to, I mean, you can just hit them so easily. So I really like the forgiveness. For me, you know, doing what I do for a living, playing YouTube golf, I just don't want to mishit an iron and it go in the water. So I feel like when I mishit a long iron, say a 4-iron or a 5-iron, I can still get away with it with the P770s.
That's amazing. Hit us some shots here. I think it's so big to hear a comment like that from a player of Grant's standard. We're talking like one of the top amateurs out there. He's obviously saying he's out there playing YouTube golf, so the miss hit is critical to him. But what about you, the golfer? We often miss low in the blade. With the P770s, that's where you're going to get the benefit of getting the yardage out of the club. So beautiful strike, absolutely no miss there. That gives you guys viewing this an idea and an understanding of the ball flight that we're getting. Now let's take a first look for you at the P770. Just look at it from the back there first and how nice they've changed it.
Wow, this is my honest first look, guys. I've not even seen this. Wow.
Then put it down into the player's view. I'm giving him club by club. What do you see now as a difference between the two?
So right away, this looks like more of a player's iron. It's a little bit sleeker. It almost looks like a blade, but it's got that more forgiving look of the P770.
So for someone who's gone across all of the different iron models, if we can give you something that does, to your point, look a bit more player orientated, it's got the sleeker top line that you've obviously picked up on already, but you're also going to get some benefits now as well from the feel and the hit, but still having that forgiveness that you love.
Right.
So drag a ball and let's put it down to the test of seeing if it marries up to what you want.
Yeah, they do look very, very different in a good way. It's like I'm actually hitting like more of a blade. That pretty solid.
So this is also, to let you in on this, the first time I've ever heard anyone hit these irons. To me, the sound was quite different.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah.
Sounds different, looks very, very different over the golf ball, but we obviously know the forgiveness is still gonna be there. Hit one more, gotta hit another. This is crazy, first time.
How's it feel through the turf?
Really good. Really solid there. I mean, that was a super flush divot for me.
So the consistency in the yardages, which is the first thing we look at when we grab a new golf club for anyone, it's there. You're gonna have the flighted CG that we've seen before, where the center of gravity moves in these irons to give you different ball flights. I've got a long iron here as well, which I want you to grab in comparison to your 4-iron. So if I give you the 5 here, which is the longest one in the set, you can see the differences there as well. And that could be something that could entice you to play a slightly long iron, because when we get into the longer irons, obviously they're tougher to use. Flighted CG in this is going to give you a bit more launch out of the 4-iron. So again, think about, you play quite a bit of golf in Florida, there's carries and things, or you want to hit uphill. This iron's going to help you, and still being able to compress it and get the ball flight you want.
Let me hit a couple with this.
Go for it.
Wow. It does look so much different. I didn't expect, like, looking on the down, like when you're looking from up top, looking down at it, it's very, very different.
And is there anything striking you Feel-wise, are you getting more feel from it, more response?
I mean, it's hard right now. I feel like after the 2 7-irons, it feels like it's coming off with, I don't know why, but like a higher spin rate for me. It's like, I feel like these are spinning a lot. Let's hit this 4-iron here.
And it's interesting because you're using a ball as well in the TP5X that shouldn't be spinning much. So you're often able to control that spin rate with these.
Right. Oh, those are my best. Another.
So that's a good one to go off. You just said quietly there under your breath, like not your best.
Yeah.
But if we look at this golf shot and we look at the spin rate and the distance out of it, it's still how far would you want to carry your 4-iron?
4-iron, I hope, is going around.
If it's got to carry a number.
Carrying 210.
Yeah, and that still got us that distance out of it. It got a total of 213.
And that was a very strong mishit. That's exactly what I love about the P770s is I mishit a 4-iron like that really bad, and it's still carried, even though, you know, I barely even hit the club face, it's still carried almost out pin high to my target.
And we've got to remember that's a 4-iron as well.
Right.
So look at the height on that.
Yeah, that was high.
So that's the flighted CG I'm talking about. That enables you to get the height. I mean, that's very playable from there. And then that gives you that 215 carry that you're talking about.
Wow, so that was 215?
That was 215 carry on the button. 214.6.
And that felt like that was going to land pretty soft, too.
Massively. Yeah. And your other one was that you didn't quite strike, actually carried 196, but ran out to the 215.
Right.
So, you know, they're interesting. I've got another option for you to look at here, which, look, I totally get what you're talking about, and you play a lot of golf, and I think it's important, anyone out here who's looking at fitting versus playing, it's always great to be around guys who play all the time. Take a look at these two. This is the P7 CB. So you're gonna have a different feel than this again. We've obviously got the forged construction going on in the P770. That's why you like the feel of this. There's been some changes inside to this as well for the sound and the feel. But now we're going into the compact grain forging of the P7 CB. So it's a different feel again.
What's crazy though is looking down at it, they don't look that much different.
And that would be part of the benefits of there it is side by side for you to see it from the player's view.
Yeah, it's almost identical. Maybe just a hair thicker on this one, the P770, but not much. I mean, it's very, very hard to notice. So previously in the P7 MC, I noticed, I tried to play an entire set, and I noticed that I was losing 5 to 10 yards compared to the P770. So yeah. I'm really curious with the P7 CB here. Maybe I could switch to these.
And it's difficult to see without having them side by side. Blade length has changed a little bit. The way the club has changed a little bit. So you should pick up a fraction more yardage.
Okay.
You should.
I mean, looking down at this just looks like a beautiful, a little bit thinner P770.
And that's what, yeah, and that's why I'm interested to see how it compares. And we've got your 7-iron numbers down here. So how do they compare side by side? So if I look at, and we'll go on...
that one 7-iron I hit was as good as I could possibly hit.
Yeah, the 180, you ripped it, right? 180.3 and you had a 175.
Okay, 175.
So you know, we're working on a 177 average.
Okay. Yeah, that first 7-iron, I could not have hit that better, so I feel like that's a good baseline to go off of. I can't hit that any better either.
How nice is that sound?
Yeah, that felt good. And that looked like it carried the same distance.
1.8, 3.3.
So I gained yardage.
I mean, you crushed that.
Yeah, that one felt really good.
So here's the thing, if I have to be honest with you, that was pure. And you already made a comment at the start of this, like, if I'm hitting a shot, I want to keep a game going, I want to make a certain carry number, and I don't quite hit it, you might give that up a hair on this versus that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I like it because now we're putting you in a realm where at least you've got to consider
Right,
it.
but I feel like for me, the P7 MCs,
wouldn't
even when I hit them that solid, I was still losing a little bit distance. With this P7 CB, like that, yeah. That flew the same distance as the P7.
How nice did it go through the turf? They've changed the sole a little bit as well.
Yeah. I mean, I got to hit one more.
Yeah, do it.
That felt
that was lovely.
Really good. Try one more here. Looking down at this, Man, it just looks so good. And so that right there was not as compressed, but I'm curious. Still a good strike.
Yeah.
Just was not near as compressed against the turf. I'm curious how far that went.
Dropped 10
Yeah.
yards. So that is the one where so that's 171 carry.
Yeah.
So now we're averaging out at the 177 between the two.
I feel like that's the shot right there I sometimes hit, where it's like I don't necessarily compress it fully.
Yeah.
And I lose that yardage really quick.
Yeah, and look, we've got a 4-iron for you to test as well in it.
Okay.
So now, I mean, look at it from the top. It looks beautiful, but again, players out there that like a P7MC or they like a P7MB, this could very much be an option for them.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not too intimidating at all. That's very, you know, when I get over that, I feel like it's still a great looking 4-iron. It's not too thin. I feel very comfortable with this over water. Struck pretty well.
Sounded decent. Looked like you
Green.
compressed it on the launch.
Yeah, it was a little bit lower, but it was like a very piercing ball flight.
So again, we had, I think you said 205, didn't you, carry?
Yep.
Before? That's 203.
Lower carry for sure. Let me get one more here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can launch it a little bit higher. That was a little bit low. Right.
So it brings me to a place though, as you hit more of these and get a feel for it, and like your numbers are always pretty good. You're quite a low spin guy. That was 204 carry.
Yeah.
But it would put me as a fitter in a world where I might say to you, now bear in mind with the P770, that flighted CG, so that means you get different launches out of the long irons versus the shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And our peak height on the long iron, which is visual in the P770, is higher. But I would sort of say to you, because I always like to throw it out there, and I know we saw recently you hit your wedges so well, but what about if you went combo set? I mean, that's...
Yeah. What about a P7 CB and a P770 combo? Because I've never tried that combination yet. And I feel like the pitching wedge through the 7-iron, we could go the P7 CBs and then P770 from there on.
Yeah, that's where my head's going when I look at this, if you wanted to make a change. But I think the fact that a player of your level, I mean, look at that. It's just so consistent.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It shows that the loft and, I mean, anyone who goes and changes their lies on this would be crazy.
I did do that.
Yeah, I know you did.
Do that, yeah.
But, I mean, that's pure. This is pure. The consistency's pure. The way you view a set of P770s, I think, is so much for so many of us out there to understand and take on board. I've even sat and watched you hit balls and then gone away and tried a full set of P770s.
Yeah.
Based on, I'm like, well, if he's doing it, I should be doing it.
Yeah.
These are beautiful and they do have their place 100%. And I think we're going to spend a little bit of time working with the P7 CB and see if we can combo set these.
I feel like that would be awesome. I mean, for me personally, like going to the P770s, I haven't had those days where I was like, oh man, I wish I could hit a blade. I've truly hit them so well, I haven't even looked back. So, but I will say in the pitching wedge through the 7, I feel like a P7 CB could be the move.
That's the P770 and the P7 CB iron. We've got Grant Horvat looking at his options, testing. We're going to go through this and maybe consider a combo set. You should be out there doing the same. If you want to get fit on the P-Series irons, go to TaylorMadeGolf.com where you can learn more about fitting, but you can also learn more about the products that could be right for your game.